Someone asked, how far will FC Dallas go this year?
All the way. That's
We're
the
locking
plan.
that one in. We're locking that one in.
We're gonna lock that one in. That's our goal,
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of ChumChat. It's your boy Johan Gomez with my co-host Tanner Tessman. We got a very special guest, our first ever guest on ChumChat. Look how far we've come. My boy Brandon Servania. Thanks for coming on, my boy.
What's up, guys? How are you?
Good.
Bro.
Can't
Good,
complain.
my bro.
Can't complain. To the fans, y'all submitted some questions. I know y'all are tuning in right now, so make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Keep blowing us up. And we appreciate you guys for the support. I guess we got to get into it. The first things first. New contract for the boy. Can't complain. Also, happy late birthday, by the way. 23.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
23.
Yep.
And yeah, how you feeling after that? Obviously, you've come off with a couple smooth performances from what I've seen on Twitter and stuff like that. So, how you feeling?
Yeah, I mean it's been good. A lot of changes this year within the club, but we've had a good start. And for me personally, I've been getting a lot more minutes, and so hopefully I can keep that going. So it's been good. No complaints.
So tell me how that new contract feel though. Like for real, like it be hitting different, bro. Does it? Like,
oh, we could ask you that question. How does it feel, huh?
nah, like I don't know though, because like you're like the homegrown, the face of the club, and then they like they want to re-sign you with some big bucks, because like
Big
bro, your
time word
homegrown
you're
deal
using.
was elite, bro. Your homegrown deal was elite. So
Nah, I mean it feels good, having the support from the club, being in the academy and going through the ranks, how that feels. And then for them just to, take another step and want me, for a few more years, it feels great. So now I can just focus on, trying to perform for the club and see what we can do this year, see how far we can go. Hopefully we can go all the way,
I love that. I think we can.
That's perfect. That's perfect. Someone asked, how far will FC Dallas go this year?
All the way. That's
We're locking that one in. We're locking that one in.
We're gonna lock that one in. That's our goal,
Not too shabby.
I want to ask that real quick. Like, obviously with Lucci, like how he is, and every year, beginning of the year, we talk about our goals and what's possible. What is like the biggest? Like, obviously, you were with Lucci for a long time, in the academy, and then also with the first team. How does it change now with the new coach and the new staff to like what you've been coached before from like Lucci and their staff? Like, what's the biggest difference?
I'd say there's a lot of similarities. Playing style is somewhat similar, trying to play out the back and trying to high press at times. I think the structure is a little bit different as far as our midfield. Me and Pax have somewhat different roles. But I think overall it's pretty similar. Obviously there's little details here and there that have changed, and then obviously personnel has changed a lot since Lucci left. And then some changes in the club, as far as like, changing. Well, since you've been there, they changed the gym, they changed the eating space, so it's more, guys are spending more time at the club with each other. But I mean, nothing too big, too drastic. But yeah, it's been all good changes.
That's good. Yeah, I heard about the eating area changing to upstairs, and they knocked out that wall.
Yeah.
Upgrading, bro.
Yeah, talking about changes. Someone asked, how does it feel as a player? And this is obviously their words, not mine or anyone else's, but they said, how does it feel as a player seeing the ownership invest in the team for the first time?
I wouldn't say the first time they're investing, but
maybe drastically investing in them.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, obviously when you're getting transfers from guys like Tanner and Pepe and Brian, you're getting more money that you can put into the club. So that's also a testament to these guys being able to make that jump and get some money for us. But it's been good. Obviously we've got some good players from overseas, and then some guys in the league like Paul that have already made a name for himself in MLS and with the national team. So it's been good. As you can see, we're doing well, and hopefully we can just continue this run.
I like that. How is the new guy, Alan? How is he?
He's good. He's we haven't had a guy that's just trying to take people on, as a winger, and I think that's important for the team. He's able to bring something different. Just once he gets the ball, sometimes he just puts his head down and just goes, and sometimes that's what we need. But yeah, he's shifty, he's quick, and he's been great so far. So hopefully he can keep that going.
How much has it impacted you guys being able to? I think I heard Paxton talk about it, but it's been crazy because I remember watching you and Jesus and Paxton play together from time, and now you already got him the first team. Even Edwin into that equation. It's like 4 of the top 6 guys on the field have already played together, already have that chemistry. Like that obviously has to play like a huge role in how successful you guys are, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can see the chemistry. I think it's a matter of we're working hard for each other. If we're not really afraid to make a mistake because it's one of your boys that got your back. If you mess up, he's gonna help you recover. I think that's big, and we're just giving each other confidence throughout the game, and we're trying to all improve, going forward, so that we can all stay on the field together. So it's big time for us to be able to get that chance, and hopefully we can, make the most of it.
I think that's important for Dallas this year to have y'all in the midfield. Obviously, you have other players that could get some minutes, get some starts. But I think when FC Dallas is at their best is when y'all three in the midfield and Jesus up top. But another fan question is, they see a big change in your play this year, and I think everyone does as well. What do you attribute that to?
I mean, like I was saying, I think right now I have, some confidence. I think that's huge. As you guys know, playing yourselves, I think confidence is one of the most important, things that every footballer needs. So I think, just right now, I feel confident, feel good with the guys that are around me, and I think the team is in a good spot, so that always helps.
I like what you said about
Nice.
confidence. We talk about it a lot, actually, a lot with a lot of our guests here. It's crazy what confidence can do. And me and
It's
Sam were talking
crazy.
about it. You're still a young player, obviously, barely 23, but you've had your ups and downs, and you're barely getting your big break. How have you dealt with maybe lapses in confidence in which your confidence has been down? I don't know, maybe it can be tough if like a couple years ago you would get sent down to North Texas or something like that, or I don't know how the Austrian move was for you. I guess we'll talk about that later, but how do you deal with stuff like that when you don't have as much confidence?
Yeah, it can be tough. I think, like you're saying about the Austrian move, that's what taught me a lot. I think coming back from there, I was able to kind of manage my emotions a little bit better. I think you can think about it too much, overthink, one training that you had, and then you're hesitating on all your decisions, going forward. And I think that's just going to hold you back. You have to kind of have a short-term memory when, some situations when you mess up, obviously, keep it in mind, like, I shouldn't have done that. I could have made this decision better, but you can't overthink every decision you're making just because you make one mistake, but I think the Austria move was big for me because there's times where I'm starting and I'm playing well, and the coach is telling me I'm playing well, and then the next game I'm not in the roster. It was very interesting, but there's some decisions that you can't control, that you can't let that affect your mentality or how you play, your performance. So I think that taught me a lot, that the move to Austria, and I'm just trying to bring that back with me right now.
Let's talk about that real quick though, because we had our boy Taylor Booth on here when he was out there, and he
Yes,
was telling us,
sir.
I don't know if this is true, but he was telling us that they had y'all basically like the whole extent of the loan. Y'all were living in a hotel room. Is that true?
For a minute we were living in a hotel room. I would say almost half of the time I was there, and then we moved to an apartment, like pretty much right next to that hotel room, but it was a lot nicer. But yeah, the first half was a little tough. Obviously for me, I'm in a whole different country. I don't speak German like that, and all I had was Taylor, so he helped a lot. But no, we grinded through that one.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he was telling us a lot of stories. That's crazy. But let me ask you, because all three of us now, have been in relegation battles. Obviously, St. Paul got relegated last year. How has that, having those emotions, dealing with that in and out like of every week, how has that been now going back to MLS and you don't have to deal with that? Like, can you appreciate what MLS has now that you don't have to necessarily think about that? Maybe last year y'all would have gone relegated.
Wow. But yeah, I mean, like you said, it's a lot less stress on the players in MLS. Some would say that it's not healthy for the sport because we're not fighting for anything. But I mean, obviously, as a player, it's nice to not have to worry about that. Obviously, every team wants to win, but when you're at the end of the season and you're not gonna make playoffs, you can just play kind of freely. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's a lot better, a lot less stress than being in that relegation battle.
Yeah, that battle's tough, bro.
Yeah.
I want to go back to kind of your confidence in St. Poland. Like you said, Austria was when you really said you learned something there and you stuck with you. But how was your first loan to Oklahoma? Was that difficult as well, or how did you deal with that?
So my first year, me and Jesus, we would go on loan with the Tulsa Roughnecks, and we would train with FC Dallas the whole week, and then like Friday we would drive up to Tulsa and play, and then come back. So for me, it wasn't too bad because I was playing. I was getting a lot of minutes. And as a young kid, I wasn't, physically there. Everyone kind of, grows at different times. I wasn't physically there with the, the MLS guys yet. So I think that helped a lot just to be able to, get game form. And then I was going in with the youth national team. That helped a lot with confidence and form. But yeah, I think that whole loan was easier mentally for sure than Austria. But, like you said, I had some ups and downs, and I think that they've all helped me to get where I am right now.
Good
That's
answer.
good. I like that you said the small term memory. I really like that. That's something that young kids listening really need to take into account. Is just have a small term memory, even if it's good or bad things, but learn from it and move on. I really like that.
Yeah,
1,000%. Talking about Europe, obviously still new. You just signed your contract, so I don't want to have you thinking too far in the future. Obviously, you're committed to Dallas. Y'all really gonna bring that MLS Cup home now. But someone asked, what made you decide to sign in the extension? And do you think it will impact your ability to move abroad if you want to? Obviously, we had George Campbell on a couple weeks back. He was one of the first guests that maybe said, I'm cool with staying in MLS if that's the way it works out. How do you see things?
Yeah, I'm not really, keen on going to one specific place. I think the guy has a plan, and I'm just gonna do the best that I can to, improve every day and be the best player I can be. And right now, I'm just focused on, Dallas and what I can do for this team, and then wherever that takes me, that's what's gonna take me. So yeah, right now I'm just trying to focus on me and my performances, and not really too far into the future.
Man, he's giving us the TV answer. He's giving us the TV answer.
You know what I'm saying?
I respect it though. I respect it though, babe. You could be honest with us. But let me ask you this though, because someone told me to ask you this. And this is an interesting one because MLS is growing. Now, if you stay in MLS your whole career, this is a good question to ask you. Do you think that you or whoever, if you stayed in MLS your whole career, you could still become a world superstar?
I think that's a good question. I think the league is definitely growing. You're seeing big time names come over to MLS. I think you can be a superstar. I think it is going to take a little bit more than if you're obviously in the Prem or another top 5 league. But I think you could definitely make a name for yourself in MLS.
Yeah, I think you could definitely make a name for yourself, but a world superstar, come on, bro. I guarantee if you ask anybody in the Prem who Carlos Vela is, ain't nobody know.
Bro, okay, that's a bad example because Carlos Vela played for Arsenal.
Yeah, Carlos Vela was in Europe, but that goes to your point that you have to go to Europe to prove yourself. I agree with that. I think if you really want to prove that you're the best in the world, you're gonna have to go to where the best players are, you know, in the best leagues, and show that you can still do it at that level. But yeah, so with that point, I can agree with you that if that's what you meant by world superstar, but if you can definitely make a name for yourself in
Yeah.
MLS. That's all.
For sure. I mean, you could look at guys in the national team like Walker, like Miles, like Yedlin, who's
Kellen,
in
yeah.
MLS now. Kellen. Different guys, Pepe, Jesus, Paul. I mean, these are all guys that are playing in MLS that are making a name for themselves, but it's kind of through the national team, you know? I find it tough. You'd have to be playing for your national team, I think. But
yeah, I agree with that.
Let's transit. That's a
Good
perfect
question, a
transition
big
for
time
us.
question.
That was a big time question. That's what we ask here on ChumChat. Only the big questions.
like
That was a
that.
perfect transition to the national team. We got to talk about it, bro. Obviously, this is recorded for the people who don't know. A couple hours before the big game, we have a man here himself who has already debuted for the national team. But your boy and our boy Jaden plays for PR, Puerto Rico. Are you committed to the U.S. full through and through, or do you want to team up with your boy and take the Puerto Rico to new levels? Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, we are asking some big time questions at ChumChat. No, like I'm saying right now, I'm gonna give you the TV answer, but it's true for my situation. I think that for me personally, I think I gotta focus, you know, like I was saying, in the short term. I think if you focus long term, then you can kind of it kind of hurts your progression, you know, if you're focused on too far ahead. The Federation has reached out a few times, you know. I told them that I think we're gonna talk about it soon, but right now I think it's best for me to just, you know, focus on what I can do with Dallas this year. Like you said, I already have a cap with the US, and maybe if I can have a good year, I can get back in the mix. So right now I'm not trying to switch over to Puerto Rico at this moment, but we can see what the future has for me.
What does Jaden's tell you? Is he in your ear, or does he just kind of let you take your own decision?
Nah, he understands the situation. He's gonna let me, you know, do me, but he tells you what's going on over there. I mean, there's a few guys over there I know, like obviously Jaden, Devin Vega, Isaac Enking. So the program is definitely progressing. But I just gotta, you know, try to make the best decision for me and my career. So we'll see what happens.
does it come to a point though where what do you know when that point is? Like if you're, you know, you turn 26 or whatever, and maybe you're not on the national team or even earlier, does that convince you to go play for Puerto Rico, getting opportunities there, or is there no, you just don't know yet?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I'm thinking right now is, you know, try to see if I can get back with the US, and then you know, we'll see what happens. Maybe later down the line, Puerto Rico is the best decision for me, like you said, and maybe they're you know, competing to qualify for the World Cup, and you know, that'll be beneficial
beautiful
for me as well. So we'll see what happens.
That'd be beautiful to play with the bro as well.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
One of the fans asked, I think I already know the answer to this, but do you speak Spanish?
Not really. You know, I understand a lot, but it's something I need to improve for sure.
Yo, I swear Jaden always used to tell me that he understands Spanish and he can speak a little bit, but he only speaks like with your dad. And I was like, bro, there's no way. But he said,
actually, he does understand like a lot, like especially because he's been going to camp and stuff. But he doesn't like to speak it. He's not comfortable speaking it. I think because he feels like he has a little accent. But yeah, we both need to work on that for sure.
Funny.
A lot easier than German, probably, as you know.
Yeah, German. It wasn't too bad but I was only there for a few months, so I wasn't trying to learn the whole language. But it was kind of fun learning it for me. I don't know how your situation is going, but it was kind of fun because it's so different. You know, like sometimes Spanish and other languages kind of have similarities. German is just its own thing.
I agree, bro.
It's because Spanish and English got that Latin root, or like you can understand what the word's trying to say.
Yeah, they got
German,
nah. If you don't know the word, you don't know the word. You have no context clues.
Exactly, bro.
Going back to FC Dallas, because obviously you're killing it there right now. Congrats, by the way, everything that you're doing so far. But how has your role changed, you think, under Niko?
That's a good question. I think the system we're playing, I think I'm able to get forward a little bit more. I feel like I'm contributing a little bit more higher up the field. And this year, one of my goals is to get, a few more stats. I have 2 assists so far, so hopefully can add to that and hopefully get a few goals. But I think getting forward a little bit more is the biggest change that I feel like I've had this season compared to, past seasons.
Let me ask you something, actually. This is just something I thought of on the fly. So you're talking about stats, but you're a guy who maybe necessarily even, I know Tanner can attest to this also, because you guys are both kind of 8s, 6s maybe. And you guys know how to score, but do you guys feel a little bit of pressure sometimes, maybe from the media now, to put up stats? I know Jude Bellingham was talking about it now, that maybe people just care about stats, but I know you and Tan, like, you actually have to watch the game to appreciate how much you guys are affecting it, but you won't show up necessarily on assists or goals. Do you think maybe you feel a little bit more pressure now in today's era to go out there and score or maybe assist?
Yeah, I saw the thing that you're talking about, that Jude Bellingham was saying that, people don't appreciate the game as much because they're focused on stats. I think it is tough with, social media and stuff like that. They're, see all the posts about, goals and assists that this guy has and this guy has. But I think, like you said, players can affect the game in so many different ways, and sometimes it doesn't show up on the stat sheet. I think it is a little bit of pressure, but at the same time, it can't change your game, if that makes sense. I think for me, it will help the team in the long run if I can put up, a few more stats. But I do, agree with you that, as a 6 or as an 8, like, for example, Edwin's having a great season, but he doesn't have, goals, or I don't know if he has an assist, but the stats aren't going to show how well he's doing. But yeah, I could agree with that. There's a little bit of pressure, but I don't think you can let it get to you as a player if you're still performing well.
Yeah.
Finally got a little bit out of him. Not necessarily the TV answer right there, so that was good.
You're milking it out of him. You're going. Let's move forward.
Yeah. Nah, he's got to just
as we get into it.
Of course. You ask something from Tanner, or should I ask him the success question again, I guess?
Oh, snap. I forgot about the success one.
I mean, we got to ask him the success question, of course.
Of course. All right, brother. I think you know the success question anyway, but I'll lay it out for you, obviously. And I think Anthony will pop up what you said last time if we asked this you last time, because you were our first guest, so we were probably so bad.
No, but, for sure we asked, but the question ain't clean like it is now.
Nah, the question is clean now. Obviously, success, everyone has a different, definition of it. And so, the whole thing here is kind of defining success. So we want to know if you think that you've achieved success and what's your definition of it.
Do I get to see my answer from last time? I really want to see that. Or it's going to come after?
It'll come after. We don't have a producer yet, but we'll get on that soon just for you.
Okay.
I can whip it up if you want it real quick.
Yeah, let me hear that.
Obviously, Brandon is very successful in his lifestyle, and he has a lot more coming in his future. So that's why we love to ask these questions to Brandon, just to get an insight on what makes him successful. And I would like to ask you, Brandon, what do you think success is, whether it comes to happiness, money, soccer? Like, for you, what really determines if you're being successful in your life?
That's a good question. Honestly, I feel like for me, being successful is just finding happiness. Honestly, feeling proud about what I'm doing, hopefully making my family proud of me and what I'm doing, and just working as hard as I can and knowing that I'm the best that I can be. I feel like that's when I feel like I've reached success. So not there yet, hopefully a lot more to come, but yeah, that's the goal.
Hey, that's kind of class. And I think the question was kind of class as well.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
The question was not bad. Yeah, the question was good.
But we need the 2022 Burner Servania definition of success, and does he think he's achieved it?
See, but the crazy thing is, like, that is very similar to what I would say now. I definitely have not achieved success yet, but I still think that if, you know, in this life, if I can find happiness and, you know, feel like I'm doing the best that I can do, I feel like that's gonna, you know, be me reaching my highest level of success. You know what I'm saying? I have a question for you guys. Do you ever think that you can truly be successful, or do you think that it's always, you know, something that you're striving for?
I can take I'll take the first leg on this, but I think for sure it's something that you can achieve. You know, I think success is like, it's like steps. You know, it's not a one goal. If you understand what I'm saying, like it's a consecutive thing that, you know, you set a goal like I want to get more minutes, you know, and then when you see yourself getting more minutes, you're being successful. But obviously there's more and more that you chase and you're hungry for. So like, for example, you know, I wanted always to be in the national team. Well, I made it to the national team, but am I there now? No. So I want to be there again, but I was successful in that. The same with your house that you bought and the house I bought, you know, that's a goal that everyone has, you know, everyone wants to buy their own home, but we've done it at a young age. So we're successful in that, but there's always, you know, I want to buy, you know, a beach house, or, you know, I want to get this car or that car, which a lot of it's materialistic. But I think with goals, like, you know, playing for a certain team or whatever it is, winning a certain trophy or playing in a World Cup or whatever it is, I think you can definitely be successful, but you'll always see yourself like trying to chase the next thing. But I think that's us. I think we're very driven. I think we're always focused on being the best we can be and pushing the limits, where I think other people are content and successful in, you know, living a 9 to 5 and having their friends and family close and whatever it may be. So I think success for us is always trying to achieve more, whereas others is, you know, content with what they have.
I like that. But to what you're saying, I agree with the, you know, you set a goal and then you achieve that. Like, for example, when you said as a player, you know, you first sign and then your first goal is, okay, let me get some minutes. Then when you first get a few minutes, yeah, you've achieved that goal. But would you say that your career is successful because, like, would you say you had a successful career just because you achieved your first goal? I wouldn't say so. So I think that I agree with you that there's steps, but would you say that like reaching a goal is success, or do you think like success is like an overall view of your career? That's what I was thinking, like an overall view of my career. Was I successful as a player?
Yeah.
Like obviously I think I've taken, you know, I've completed goals, like you said, national team and you know, getting minutes in MLS and scoring a goal and all that stuff. But I think it's for the overall career, you know, would I say I was a successful professional soccer player? I think it's hard to
like if your career ended today, would you say you had a successful career or no?
I would say I wasn't able to do everything that I wanted to do. So right now I would say that it wasn't successful, but I think that I did complete a lot of goals that I set for myself, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't look back and be able to, you know, brag about what I did, if that makes sense. I feel like, you know, knowing myself and what I can do, I feel like there's a lot more that I can, you know,
100%,
for myself.
100%.
Of course. That's why it's all relative though, because like if you think about it, if you got a 13-year-old Brandon right now in front of you, looking at you,
yeah,
you
exactly.
13-year-old Brandon, is 23-year-old Brandon successful? Is that guy successful? 1,000% he says yes. You know what I mean? But
like,
now
would you
look
take
at
this
us.
life? Would 13-year-old Brandon take the life?
Bro, when I tell you at 13-year-old Brandon, I would have said my soccer career was successful if I got a scholarship to a D1 school.
And you did.
That was literally my goal as a 13-year-old Brandon. That was the farthest I was even thinking, was just trying to go to a good school and get a scholarship for soccer. That's all I was focused on.
I think that's the beauty of it though, because like, I don't know about you, but growing up in Alabama, I didn't even know what the MLS was. And then
I'm telling you, I didn't even know that there were academies. And then whenever, you know, making the move to Dallas, honestly, for me at the beginning, it was so that I could get more exposure to get a better offer for college. I wasn't even trying to get, you know, a homegrown deal or anything like that. And then that just happened, like you said, making goals and being able to achieve those goals, it led me to where I am now. But I think that's, like you said, that's the beauty of, this sport and life in general. So
I think that's also like, it's crazy that, us growing up in Birmingham and even Johan in Dallas, you don't see what's like possible until you get there. Like, so for
1000%.
example, like joining the first team, like when we were going about, even when you're at Wake Forest, you still have a doubt. You're like, I don't know if I could play in the first team. Obviously, you're confident in yourself, your family, your support is confident in you, but I don't know if I can start in the first team. But then when you get there, it's like, I need to get to the national team. I can make it to the national team. And then, maybe I can't start in the national team, but yeah, I can just start in the World Cup. It's always the next step, and you're capable of doing it. It's just
Exactly.
about the opportunity, So
exactly.
I think it's very
It's
interesting.
crazy that you say that, because when I got to Dallas, it was like, okay, I'm at the academy. I don't know if I'm gonna play, blah blah blah. Then I started. Then I was able to go to youth national team. Then it's like, okay, let's do this. Then I had colleges, and even making my decision to go to Wake, I was hesitant. I was like, yo, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to, play at Wake. Like all these guys from the national team. This is before I made my first, U18 camp.
Right.
All these guys like Mark McKenzie, O'Meara, all these guys that have been to national team before. And I was talking to my parents. I was like, yo, I don't know if I'm gonna play. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I should go to school where I'm just gonna play. But obviously the people around you, it's a big help, especially for me, to where I've been, just having their support and their belief in me. They push me. They're like, nah, you can, we know what you can do, and don't sell yourself short, And I was able to go there and play, and then it just kept going on from there. But it's crazy looking back, what you think the limit is, and then once you step out of your comfort zone a little bit, what you can achieve after that.
1000%.
Exactly, bro.
I agree with that. Because even like Tanner said, for me in Dallas, I remember like I've been asked like, was there a moment where you realized you could do it? And for me, it was never like,
Exactly.
I was literally committed to the University of Portland. I was going to go to Bonilla. I was chilling.
Yes, sir.
We played
Yes,
U19
sir.
FCD. Literally 2 months later, I'm in Porto U19s, and I'm like, how can I be good enough to play for the Porto first team? You know what I mean? It's like in a blink of an eye, and like that's the human nature. Like I bet you, bro, if we get you on for part 3, 2 years, 3 years from now, you're gonna look at yourself now. You're gonna be like, bro, those are my goals. Like, nah, I'm way more than that. I want way more than that. Like, I can't believe I wanted that. So it's crazy that you say that.
I think it even goes back to like what you were saying about having a short-term memory, because you get to these positions where you're like, I can be starting in the first team, I can be doing all these things, and then something happens, you get an injury, or you go on loan, or for some reason the coach isn't playing you, or you're having a rough patch, and everything changes so quick. But you have to always have that belief and that confidence in yourself, because then the next day you're back in the 11, you're in the starting lineup, and you need to perform. So it's always about having that short memory. Even when you're on a good note, you never know how fast it can be taken away, and you never know how fast you can get that opportunity. So you just got to be ready. But I like that. That was a good conversation. I'm glad that you asked us, about what you were saying. But we just seen Italy out of the World Cup, back-to-back World Cups. Does this take pressure off the U.S.?
No, not at all.
Does this take pressure off the U.S.?
Not at all. I'm sorry. No.
Are you talking about the champions of Europe are out of the World Cup back-to-back? Like, come on, if the U.S. doesn't make it, I mean, we're the same as Italy, bro. That's a
Nah,
good. That's
bro,
a good.
because you can say
But
for Italy, you can be
respectfully,
like,
we're in CONCACAF.
yeah, and they won the Euros, bro. You can be like, all right, successful year, we won the Euros. I don't know if you'll be happy with just Nations League and Gold Cup.
Will you
How
look
do
back
these-
and be proud of what you did?
I like that. I like that. But some of these top players, man, they're like up for like. How's Jorginho up for the Ballon d'Or? He's not even gonna play in the World Cup. How's Bonucci and Chiellini up there? They not even gonna play in the World Cup.
Don't even say that, bro. Ronaldo finna not be in the World Cup, bro.
Hey,
Hold on. They
calm.
just Turkey
I
just
know,
missed
but
the
you never
PK.
know.
They
If
got lucky.
Macedonia beat Italy, they can beat Portugal, bro. That's all I'm saying.
Anyone, yeah, you know what I'm saying?
It's not over yet, though. You said they're finna not be. They got a chance.
They're still. I think they'll make it. Portugal will make it, but Italy not making it is crazy. It's wild.
Yo, Brandon, we talked about some stats up in your goals and assists, but when we see that goal, we're gonna need a little ChumChat celebration.
What's the ChumChat celebration?
We've been talking about it. We
We've been
don't
talking about
necessarily know yet. So you're gonna be the first one, but Tanner's the one. It's very simple. Tanner had the idea. I don't know.
I had the idea. I was gonna say something, a little different. Obviously I could have been like, yo, hit the gritty or, do your arrow, but that's like what you did, or that's what people are doing, so we need to do a little something different. A little
I'm
something
not gonna lie
different.
to you. I might have to hit the arrow, but go ahead. I want to hear this
No,
ChumChat
of
celebration.
course hit the arrow, like you bag it in the net, you run to the side, you hit the arrow straight away, right?
Right
But then
away.
like everybody's gonna come huddle up, if you're winning, obviously you're gonna huddle up, and then everybody's gonna go, and then you're gonna hit the celly in the camera. Okay, like
Okay.
after everyone's gone, I'll be like, how Josef Martinez be like this after everybody's gone. So after everybody's gone, we're gonna need your celebration, but I don't know what it is yet. I was thinking like a salute or something, just something simple for the first one.
But okay, but if you do a salute, you have to do it right into the camera. It'd be like, and point right to the camera. I think that would be clean.
I need to see you guys do it first, so you can be the example of how our
All right,
guests are
John.
supposed to do it.
3, 2, 1.
No, I'm talking about on the field. I'm talking about a real goal celebration. You got that. Johan, for sure, you scoring, and Tanner, you finna score your first one and hit it with the ChumChat. That's tough.
All right. Hey,
I'll respect it
on
because I have my own, and I know you have the arrow, so I will respect it. But we need to see that though. I'll do it, and then you got to do it for sure though.
All right. Yeah.
All right,
but I gotta see you guys do it first though.
All right, I'll do it. I'll get a video of it. I'll post on my Instagram story, and I'll tag you. That way, you for sure see it. You for sure
So
see it.
Not every guest that comes on got to do the ChumChat celebration.
You're the first one. We've been talking about it. Actually.
We've been talking about it for a while, but we saved it for the first.
We're trying to be a
guest.
broke man's chunks in Philly, so that's why.
Speaking about these guys we haven't had on yet, we always ask our guests, and I don't know if we asked you the first time, but we always ask our guests, who would you like to see next on ChumChat?
I think you did ask. I don't remember who I said last time. Let's see. This time, Pax hasn't been on here, has he?
Yeah, he has.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Did I recommend Taylor last time?
I don't think so because we got Taylor way later, and he was
Way
he said
later.
yes immediately.
But I convinced him though. You hit me and I convinced him.
Yeah,
But
I
I
think
didn't-
you.
yeah, you're
I
right.
think you recommended like Chris Richards, and then maybe like one other person on Dallas. But yeah, we got Chris on twice now, so I don't know. I'm thinking like I'll answer for you, but I'm thinking like your boys up in New York. What's his name?
Yeah, let me get you
Omir?
Omir Fernandez. Omir's
Omir,
killing
yeah.
it this year too.
Yeah, he's balling. He's a good player.
You know, he came to my head, but I was like, I don't know if you don't really know him like that, right? But
Yeah, I don't know if we've had
No.
Cam, but we could work through it. I put with Nanu and Porto B. I've seen a couple of his actions in the first games. He's fast. Sometimes he looks a little bit out of control. What are your first impressions on him?
That's funny. I didn't even think about that you play with him. First of all, before I get to on the field, this guy comes dripped out every single day to training, to every day he's drippy. I'm like, wow, that's different. Yo, drippy every day.
Wow.
Anyways, on the field, like you said, he's fast. He's I think going forward, he brings a lot. I think there's a few times he's obviously getting used to the system. There's a few times positionally or tactically he's a little bit confused, but I think that's going to come with time and understanding, how we play and stuff like that. But I think he's done well. I think he likes to dribble a lot. I think in training he's got caught a few times, but I think there's a few times when it works and it looks really good. The fans like when he, does his little stuff.
Yeah.
But I think we're gonna grow. I think defensively he can improve a little bit, but how old is he?
He's
26?
a bit young. Yeah, 26. Not young. He's a bit older, like 26, 27 maybe.
But yeah, that's my guy. Yo, he loves Pop Smoke. His what's it called? The initiation song. He was singing Pop Smoke. I don't know if it was actually a Pop Smoke song because the lyrics were a little jacked up, but it was funny. He was hitting that in the woo and stuff. It was funny.
No,
We love that.
Let me get.
When are you hosting a camp in Birmingham for the kids that look up to you?
That is a great question. I think that it needs to be a camp with like a bunch of the guys that have made
Get Tan out there, get a Chris.
Tanner, Chris, Jaden can come back. There's a lot of guys that have, in our little, I wouldn't say era, but our age groups that have been making big steps. I think if we all go back and get a camp, I think that'll be big time. But it's
I think
hard
that would
with
be
our
big time,
schedules
too.
because our off season is different than yours.
That's a problem.
Where's your camp at, Johan?
My camp is out here in Germany. They can fly out here, see what's going on.
You paying for flights, my boy? That's tough.
Nah, I got the little German kids out here. That's my way of learning German. Just speak to the kids, see what's good. So
Hey, let's be honest though. We forgot one topic. And it's the girls.
I knew he was
It's
gonna
the
ask.
girls. I know you got a girlfriend now. How's that been? Obviously, when we had you on last time, you was a single man. How is it now being a professional baller with a girlfriend?
I'm a new man, you know what I'm saying? Nah, but it's been good. She's really good. Honestly, I don't want to say settled down. I wasn't wild, but like now I kind of like to chill at the crib. I'm more of a homebody. I think
Man's
that's
taking
good
vacations now. He's
to
a
rest.
changed man.
You know what I'm saying? Just a little
Yo,
something.
where did y'all go?
Mexico,
Yo, we
no?
went to Florida. Yeah, we went to Cancun. Fire.
Yo, my guys, he's always on that
Fire.
honeymoon trip, bro. Cancun. Hey, it was just y'all two?
No, but okay. To be fair though, because it was very early on in the relationship, but at first it was a plan for like a group of us to go, but then like we bought our tickets, and they like DJ was one of the guys that was supposed to go. He ended up like his situation with North Texas. He didn't get his option picked up, or he didn't pick up his option or whatever. I don't know exactly what happened, but so he wasn't even in Dallas anymore. He was going back to Atlanta. And then our other friends had, everyone had a little situation. So then it ended up just being us two. And we were like, we still gonna go, like it's kind of a big move for new in the relationship, but we decided to go. And
Hey, that probably gelled the relationship.
It was
though,
lit.
no?
100%.
Yeah, because that's like a make or break, or not really, but that's like a.
But you see,
like,
that's
I
why
can
I
live
was
with you or not.
exactly. I was a little nervous at first because I was like, "Yo, what if we get out there and I don't like her for real? I have to spend all this time with her or whatever." But that was best vacation I've ever been on. No cap.
That's beautiful.
Love
That's
that for you,
beautiful. I'm
bro.
excited for you, bro, because obviously y'all know me. I've been a homeboy since day one, a homebody since day one. So, I'm
we know
I'm
him.
proud of you, bro.
We know him. We know about you. Yes, sir.
Big tank.
Big tank in it.
Yo, I'm proud of you, bro. I know it's gonna. I don't know her, but I already know that she's a good girl, and I'm proud of you for finding her. And it sounds like she's wifey material from what I've heard from some of the guys.
Yeah, you've been talking to Pax. Yo, Pax was so excited. Pax was almost as excited as me, bro. I swear to you. But the thing is, she really is like amazing. Like
she does she live with you or no?
She stays with me a lot, but she obviously has her own place. But she stays with me most of the time. But yeah, she's pushing me to be a better person, a better Christian, especially like we're watching. I don't know if you ever went to the porch when you were here, but
yeah,
we always tune into that 100%, and then we always, when we can, obviously we have away trips and stuff. But if we're here on Sunday, she's always been making sure that we go to church, and that's big for me because obviously with my family, I would, we used to go to church together sometimes, but I think now that having my significant other also on the same wavelength is big time. So
what's your score prediction for tonight?
That's a good question. The tough part is that they're at the Azteca. That's the tough part. I think my gut feeling is telling me it's going to be a draw. I'm going to say 1-1.
All right, I'm gonna give you, this is our potential viral clip. This is an investment for a couple years down the road. All right. I'm gonna ask you if you see yourself scoring in the Azteca ever, and cue like 5 years from now when you score in the Azteca and it's all over like ESPN. So you just have to say like, do you see yourself scoring in the Azteca, Brandon?
Yes, I do. Absolutely.
All right.
That would actually be so wild if that actually happened. The fact that you were thinking about.
I mean, have you heard of the ChumChat blessing?
I have heard of the ChumChat blessing, and I've seen all the comments of the ChumChat blessing.
You getting blessed, bro. You getting blessed. It's actually real. I can't lie. It's real.
We'll see this season if I get blessed. Maybe a little goal soon.
Maybe a little MLS All-Star. I don't know.
Whoa, big time steps right there.
Hey,
Let's start with some goals first.
all I'm gonna say is we have some great examples of ChumChat blessing, so don't underestimate it. That's all I'm gonna say.
I like that. And now since I'm gonna be a co-host, I'm gonna get blessed even more.
Hey, what's your prediction for tonight?
1-1,
That's a tough
1-1,
one.
1-1, 1-1. I'm telling you, 1-1.
Yeah, I think tonight is a tie for sure. I think it's a 2-2 tie though. I think we tie 2-2, and I think that's a good result for the U.S. That's my prediction.
I'm keeping it boring. I'm saying 0-0. I'm saying 0-0 tonight.
I was thinking 0-0 or 1-1. The tough part is I want to know the lineup before I put out my prediction. If I know the lineup, then I'll have it would say a lot how we're gonna play. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it would change things.
Depending on who's on the field, will depend how we're going into it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. I don't know how long this episode is going to be, if it's an hour long or however long, but thank you guys so much for tuning in to the end. Brandon, there's a reason he's our first guest. Definitely one of our best guests to date. So thanks so much, my boy, for joining us. And make sure if y'all enjoyed the content to like, share, and subscribe. And as we always say, go find your own success. Deuces.